your own, and you're defined by everybody else. No sense of self.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today, we're going to talk about NXT from November the 16th, 2021. Not my favorite episode of NXT, that's for sure. But NXT shotgun approach, where they're just going to throw stuff at you, and we'll see if it sticks. It continues. And that makes the show fun to watch, because you never know, good, bad, or indifferent, because they've thrown their hands up and they're letting the car drive itself at this point. The first match is Tony D'Angelo versus Dexter Lumis, where Tony D'Angelo going over after he thumbed Dexter Lumis in the eye. Tony D'Angelo, of course, right decision to put him over. Young guy, you want to try to get as much as you can out of him. He's got a future. Dexter Lumis is, I think they Googled and found out how old he is. So, who knows how much longer he's going to be around. In any event, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes jumped Dexter Lumis from behind and Pillmanized his hand with a chair. Johnny Gargano came out there and ran him off, but he was, way too late. It took him forever. I mean, he must have been coming from that treacherous NXT parking lot. It must have been like he was playing that old game, Pitfall, where he had to jump over alligators and moats and shit in order to get there and save his son-in-law from these two guys who stomped his hand. Johnny Gargano then complained, says that Carmelo Hayes put his hands on his family. Now he's going to have to kick his teeth down his throat. This led Pete Dunne to come out there. Oi, don't try to worm yourself into a North American Championship match. I didn't need your help. Gargano, then they both got interrupted by Trick Williams, who again is talking very fast, and said that he was talking to Snow White and found the two dwarves. Then he said some other stuff while I was laughing at that, which led to Gargano calling him the guy who holds Carmelo Hayes' bags. Carmelo was like, nope. And then he told them that none of them would be relevant if it wasn't for getting involved with the A champion. Then they made some jokes about him losing, about, Carmelo don't miss. But Carmelo, of course, did miss. He missed last week. Then Johnny Gargano said that, hey, I've been here 5 years. You've been here 6 months. And I'm in this ring. I don't miss. That's can't miss. So Carmelo Hayes set up a triple threat match for these guys next week. Of course, that triple threat match is always just a cop-out to prevent from actually doing the match that you want to do, which is more than likely Gargano versus Hayes. So that means that Pete Dunne is just going to cough up this loss in this match. Interesting thing is Pete Dunne mentioned that he was the same age as Carmelo Hayes. But that they're just, but he has 10 years more experience. So this is an interesting thing because I've been talking about that NXT Civil War, and I think we're finally going to get it. I think it's finally coming. Carmelo Hayes is beating the drum hard, and Grayson Waller, he picked up the damn flag later, but we'll get there. The triple threat match, like I said, it's probably just going to be Pete Dunne taking the pin. Carmelo Hayes ain't about to lose that belt so soon, and he shouldn't. Diamond Mine got interrupted by Joe Gacy, who came in looking very creepy, talking about how much he loves Unity and that he likes the Diamond Mine. Then Bivens told him to bring his $837.50 to the tryout next week if he wants to, or than in 2 weeks. It's one of the two. If he wants to try out for Diamond Mine. And of course that will be no refunds, of course. No refunds. Joe Gacy took the card and was, very excited about this Diamond Mine thing, which only means he's bringing Harland to the Diamond Mine tryout, and that's going to be hilarious. That's going to be hilarious. Because I wonder how it's going to look and how it's going to come across, and then Harland's going to show up being all Rain Man-ish and weird, and it's going to be hilarious, man. So the Diamond Mine, they had a match though. They had a match against Jacket Time and Odyssey Jones, which they lost because for some reason Odyssey Jones is 498 pounds and he's feuding with the Cruiserweight champion. I don't understand this. Jacket Time remains wonderfully silly, and I can't look at Jiro without laughing. Like every time I look at him, I laugh. It's just no seriousness whatsoever, no hint of threat. It is just all candy and rainbows when you look at Jiro. The Creed brothers, though, bad dudes. And it seemed like at every point in this match, they were launching somebody into the air and flipping them like pancakes. Those guys are great. I love the Creed brothers. I hate that they lost, but at least they didn't get beat. Roddy got beat. So my question now is, where do you go from here? You know, Roderick Strong is the cruiserweight champion. He's not the super heavyweight champion, so I have no idea where this thing with him and Odyssey Jones is even going. LA Knight cut a promo, says that without all the flash, like the watch and the rings and the mansion and everything, he's still the 100% NXT's $1 million megastar. And said that he was destined to be NXT champion, and here it is, a year later, still not NXT champion. Then he's talked about a guy like Grayson Waller showed up and stole his spotlight, and he's still kind of upset about the whole thing with the hosting of the Halloween Havoc. He's not a fan of this Grayson Waller kid. He's gonna tighten him up. He's gonna deal with that Grayson Waller kid. This led Grayson Waller to cut a hell of a promo. One hell of a promo on the Last Legend show. Last Legend is so bad. I resisted the urge to walk away, and I wanted to walk away again once Grayson Waller came in being real effeminate. But he came in talking about he had tea to spill. So Last Legend listened to him. And then he started talking about the changes in NXT. And that people like LA Knight and Tommaso Ciampa are saying he shouldn't be there because he didn't drive down the roads. He didn't do the hot dog circuit. And that, all he did was be cool on social media and be a high-level athlete. And then WWE came looking for him. And he said, look, the old way of doing things, of all of these journeymen living their boyhood dream in NXT, that time is done. LA Knight wants to know, whose game is it? And he says, the game's changed. It's not that game anymore. And I was like, my eyes got big as 50-cent pieces. I was like, oh, Lord, NXT, the Civil War zone, baby. It's on, baby. We getting new school versus old school. It's on, baby. And this, of course, led to Tommaso Ciampa getting real upset. He came out spitting hot fire at the young boys. Talked about NXT 2.0 needed a leader. He stepped up, carried the title with prestige, and he even carried it all across Europe on WWE's European tour. And he was really upset, so he said, look, I'm going to address these youngins in the ring. So then he goes to the ring, and he said that Melo won't challenge him because Melo won't just miss, he'll shoot a damn air ball. He called Grayson a bitch and said that I'll show you where you can stick this hot dog. And that he thinks he's above the hot dog circuit, but ain't nothing wrong with that. This, of course, led to Brian Breaker interrupting. He didn't have much to say, except that Ciampa needs to focus on him because he's still coming for him in that NXT title, which Tommaso Ciampa then, in a nice little pivot of his own, similar to Becky Lynch, talked about the Magic Wizards and the production truck to line up that Halloween Havoc footage where we saw him beat Braun Breaker, and he told Braun Breaker, you don't have a 33 and a third chance of beating me. Of course, he did the Steiner math thing, which even Braun kind of cracked a smile at. He kind of broke character a little bit. He'll learn. Then said he barking up the wrong tree, and that he's going to be NXT champion for a long, long time. And buddy, that is going to be the men's War Games match. It's going to be NXT Civil War. It's going to be Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, maybe Grayson Waller, and maybe Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa, maybe Johnny Gargano, LA Knight, and who else would it be on that team? Would it be Pete Dunne? Or somebody like that. So that ought to be fun. We're going to get the Civil War. Hopefully, I was thinking maybe a longer term story, maybe a 6 to 8 month thing that featured a lot of different storylines. But it seems like they're going to just build this up to War Games and have one side win, one side lose. But I'm thinking the storyline should continue until Ciampa coughs up the title. But I'm really feeling it in my bones that we finally going to get the NXT Civil War storyline. The black and gold versus the multicolored landscape, the developmental NXT. And I would love for these guys to have flags, kind of like like brand supremacy, where they were like the other guys were like the regular NXT shirts. And I like that Grayson Waller had balls and straight up said, these DIY type guys who come here and try to live their boyhood dreams, like, no, that's over with. I think that Grayson Waller was a guy who was floating around for so long with nothing. He looks like a goof. He sounds like a goof. He seems to be like water, where he tries to fit everywhere that they put him, which is why he came across as being really effeminate at certain points during the Lash Legend thing, because that was a very feminine sort of atmosphere. But that promo was good. It was good, and it served its purpose. It went out there and it really fired up Tommaso Ciampa, and it really fired up a lot of the guys. And yeah, he's just following the lead of Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes been saying this for a while now. I'm the leader of the new school. It's over with. Whatever you talking about is done. The only reason you're relevant is because of me, the A champion. So I love this. I loved all of that. All of that was good. All that was great. Thoroughly enjoyed that. LA Knight still feuding with Grayson Waller. I'm not sure what more we can get from that turnip. I'm just not sure how much more we can get from it. All right, so the Grizzly Young Veterans, they stole the women's tag team titles so that Zach Gibson can front to his nana about being a tag team champion, because apparently she doesn't watch the show. After he showed his grandma the tag team titles, which looked like tiny replicas on his shoulders, he feels vindicated, because now he'll get something. He'll be in the will. He'll get some inheritance. And then he took the titles back later after he had nicked them from Toxic Attraction before. Still don't get what's going on with Grizzly Young Veterans. Are they about to become rich guys? And his nana gonna get bumped off, and all of a sudden he's gonna be like filthy rich? Because I think we got enough rich guys on the roster. I'm very interested in where this is going, though. Zion Quinn defeated Andre Chase, rightfully so. Zion Quinn, I'm still scarred from the sexy boy thing, but I upon further review, we're like a week or so out of that, maybe a little bit more, 2 weeks away from it. I do think that it was too soon to do that stuff, the whole sexy boy thing, but in under further consideration, you did have Kurt Angle do Sexy Kurt. I mean, you did do that. You did have other guys who do silly stuff with, singing and dancing and stuff like that. But those guys were more established. So it's going to be harder for people to take Zion Quinn seriously, knowing that that's his fetish, I guess. After he defeated Andre Chase, Legado del Fantasma jumped him from behind. He started to actually fight the two of them off, which is Wild and Mendoza. He actually fought them off until Santos Escobar blasted him from behind. And then they rammed his head into the stage and left him laying there. And Elektra Lopez said that nobody says no to her. And this was fun. Santos Escobar and, Zion Quinn sound like it'll be a lot of fun. I think Escobar should be doing more. I think they Googled him and found out how old he is too. He's 38. But you can't be 20 with 20 years of experience, man. I definitely think Santos Escobar is one of the older talent they need to keep around. Absolutely need to hold on to him. He speaks perfect English. He has a great look, great gimmick, great character. There's just no reason to cut Santos Escobar. There's no reason why he shouldn't be on Raw or SmackDown right now. I maintain that he should be trying to recruit Dominic Mysterio. And that should be the reason the Mysterios break up. It's because, Ray and Dominic keep losing. And he shows up and says, hey, you don't want to be a loser? Join me. Join me and my crew. We're not losers. Do something different from what your dad. Don't listen to him. Listen to me. That would be so much fun. Why stand in the way of something fun? Raquel Gonzalez cut a promo. Talked about the NXT Women's title was a part of her. And Dakota Kai, of course, took it away from her. And Dakota Kai has always just been jealous. And tonight, it is about revenge. Revenge. She wants revenge on Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, on the other hand, is still twitching like a crackhead. And said that her mind's been cloudy ever since TakeOver. She's been unfocused. But she knows what she's got to do in terms of what to do with Raquel Gonzalez. And then Mandy Rose slid in and, wants Dakota Kai to finish the job. To which Dakota Kai says, you owed me once, but now you owe me twice because I've been keeping your title safe. So you have the match, and Raquel Gonzalez is pretty physically dominant in the match with Dakota Kai. She's whooping Dakota Kai's ass, choke slamming her and all kinds of stuff. Then Toxic Attraction jumped in and saved Dakota Kai as she was about to get beat. After this, Cora Jade jumped in. She got beat up. Then Zoe Stark threatened to interfere, even though she was hobbling along. She was just a decoy. However, as Io Shirai came out of the chute, grabbed one of Zoe Stark's crutches and started waylaying everybody in very weak fashion. She started hitting everybody very weakly because she was being frantic and not really like lining up any of these shots. So most of them didn't even look very good. Then afterwards, she yelled "War Games" as the teams faced off. Of course, it's not official until William Regal shouts "War Games," but it makes sense. There's going to be Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction versus Io Shirai, Cora Jade, Raquel Gonzalez, and I'm missing a fourth person. I don't think Zoe Stark is going to be there. I don't think she's going to make it, dog. So they're missing a fourth person. So who is their fourth person going to be? Do I like the idea of the women's war game being this and not the NXT Civil War? This is fine. This is okay because this is a personal beef between Gonzalez and Kai, and it involves the NXT Women's title, which everyone else is already involved with. So it's a higher level feud. They've invested some time into it. There's a bit of slapdashness to it as far as, we're building to the War Games. So did the match really did this War Games really need to have this? No. But it seems like, we got to have this War Games event. And since we got to have the event, we need to have a match for it. And this match will do. That's just kind of how it felt. It felt like this will do. Still not going to be bad, though. Ought to be interesting to see Mandy Rose and the girls in this environment. Dakota Kai's, of course, been in one before. So has Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai. Cora Jade is new to the scene. I really want to see what she can do now that she's a little bit more mature and more serious. She doesn't seem to be running around with a skateboard anymore. So I'm very interested in where she's going to land in terms of characters and things like that. So we also got a lot of MSK. They were doing some corny stuff in the airport. Doesn't matter. Who cares about MSK? Nobody gives a flippity flying fluke about MSK. The important thing here is they're going to meet the shaman, and the shaman gotta be Jeff Hardy. It gotta be. Gotta be Jeff Hardy, man. It's all about the drugs. And, they have to fly all over the world. And they said no more words. It's Jeff Hardy, man. Masked tag team strategist. It's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's going to be on NXT, man. I cannot wait. This ought to be so much fun. If they're just going to go visit Jeff to do a couple of vignettes with him, and he's going to teach them some stuff, that ought to be so much fun. And you know what? It's a perfect use of Jeff Hardy. There's no better use for Jeff Hardy than to have him doing some stuff with the kids in NXT. And I don't mean send Jeff Hardy to NXT. That's not what I mean. What I mean is him doing for MSK what Michael Hayes did for him. And that's what Matt Hardy's, when he did the stuff for Private Party, that's what his goal was, to pass down his knowledge. And Jeff is at a position, I think sometimes we forget that Jeff Hardy is the age that he is, because he is the ageless one. He doesn't seem old. He seems a little bit slower than he was a couple of years ago, obviously. But Jeff doesn't seem like he's aged, too much. And sometimes people forget Jeff's in his 40s. you know, he's I forgot he had kids at one point. I was like, Jeff got kids? Like, he just seemed like a young guy, young at heart, and he just never seems to age that much. But he's at the age where he can be an effective mentor. And if this leads to a change in MSK, I would be all for it. God damn, if it makes them cooler, I'd be all for it. If it leads into a change in Jeff, that would be fucking cool too. That's the interesting thing about having a mentor and even being a mentor, is that it's really a two-person back and forth thing. It's just like being a counselor. You know, like being a counselor, you're imparting your wisdom and you're imparting what you know onto somebody else, but you're also taking in new data too, because you're learning from the person that you're teaching. You know, you're learning about them. You're learning about people who are in their situations. You know, you have to learn how to adapt to other people. You know, so this can be very useful if you wanted to do it on both sides. It could be a very useful situation. For instance, the master-student relationship, it should be two-way. You know, it should be from both sides, where the master learns something and the student, of course, learns more because that's what they're there for. But the master learns something too. You know, maybe learn something about themselves. Maybe learn something about their teaching methods, about yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of story opportunity here to have somebody like Jeff Hardy to impart his wisdom upon MSK. That could be so much fun. Of course, that was all what I thought. Then I put a second thought into it, and I said to myself, that's a red herring. It gotta be. Gotta be a red herring, man. Who is doing a shaman gimmick? Is John Morrison. See, here's the thing about John Morrison. He's been trying to do some yoga stuff to reach some higher plane of elevation, right? He's been doing this stuff on Raw for a little bit. He's also a tag team master, with tag team champion and all that. Now, the no more words makes me lean more towards Jeff Hardy, which is why I was so giddy about the Jeff Hardy idea. But I think the second idea would probably be John Morrison. And I wouldn't be as upset about it being John Morrison, but I just would be upset that we could have had Jeff Hardy. I think that would have been the only thing that would have pissed me off, is if they really in a rush to get MSK over, which it seems like they are, Jeff Hardy's a natural choice if you really want to get them over. But John Morrison's a good one too. You know, he's also been doing a lot of comedy stuff, and MSK's doing a lot of comedy. I think MSK's style is more up there with the style of John Morrison. So, and the multicolors and everything, I just hope it's Jeff Hardy. I just hope it's Jeff Hardy. All right, so there was another thing. The new Olympic gold medalist, the female, I forget her name, but I think it's Carla Mensa Stock. She was there in the crowd. Very interesting. I was wondering, they made a big deal about Gable Steveson signing up. They didn't sign her, but they did bring her out at SummerSlam. She was the other Olympic gold medalist that was brought into NXT. That was brought to WWE. They didn't officially mention that she had been signed yet, so maybe she's just checking out the show, but I don't see why you wouldn't sign her. I mean, you got an Olympic gold medalist male, go with the women too. Give her the same treatment, at least to a degree. I know she's not as high as a priority, as Steveson was, because you were in that bidding war with UFC for him, and I don't think she was very interested in UFC or doing that kind of stuff. She seemed to be a lot more excited about doing wrestling than Steveson is. She seemed to be a lot more excited about WWE, and every time she's on his camera, she's very, very excited. So I'm really interested to see if she's going to sign up and do some stuff. I would use her a lot like Ronda Rousey. That's how I would do it. And I know that Ronda Rousey, part of it was reputation with her. But I think, to have the first female Olympic gold medalist on your roster, you have to sort of establish that she's a badass, right? So you kind of have to go through, and it's still a division full of Barbies. There's still a lot of Barbies, and a lot of Liv Morgans, and a lot of Alexa Blisses for her to throw around. There's some higher level chicks that can give her a challenge, but there's also some Barbies for her to throw around too. And NXT is full of those. Those kind of 110-pound so-and-sos that she could grapple and suplex to death. So I would be okay with her being in there. I would put her in Diamond Mine, maybe do something with Roderick Strong, have her and Ivy Nile be a tag team for a little while or something like that. That would be fun, just to get her feet wet, and then, you turn her loose. And I don't know about, matter of fact, now that I think about that, maybe the Diamond Mine maybe not a good idea, because that's a heel stable. And I don't think you want to have her be a heel at first. She seems very excited. And I think you kind of want to wait till she get a little bit more professional before you turn her heel. And maybe just let her live a dream a little bit and let her be a baby face and try to get people to like her. They'll turn heel on her eventually, and then she'll get she'll get disillusioned with the business and settle in like all the other happy-go-lucky baby faces who hit that wall of, wait a minute, why don't they like me? What am I doing wrong? Like, yeah, you're being too happy, and everybody hates people. There's a thing about the world where the world hates to see people happy. You're too damn happy, they're gonna try to pull a wall up and knock you back down. But I say sign her up. Why not? She's probably a great recruit. She seems to have a great energy, and they put the camera on her, so that means she's there for a reason. So hopefully they do an angle with her or something. Just have somebody bump into her. And just let her do a little something. Have her suplex somebody. Just see if she gets a good reaction, which she probably would. It would be nice if somebody had some real heat that they could blow off by doing that. But almost none of the women have any real heat. People like Toxic Attraction. I don't think they don't dislike them. So who has some heat for her to throw around? I don't know. The only person I can think of is Carmella. Everybody hates Carmella, but she's on Raw, and this is not NXT. So there that go. I'm very, very interested. So, we got poker room stuff, and the poker room was awful. It was a poker showdown they was playing Texas Hold'em. This thing was like 6 minutes or something like that. It was entirely too long. It was longer than a lot of the matches in the Queen's Crown tournament. It was just very, very long. And it all, of course, ended with Duke Hudson losing again. He got shook by Cameron Grimes' smile, and he thought he had a royal flush, and he didn't have shit. This led to Duke Hudson beating the tar out of Cameron Grimes and powerbombing him through the table, and then taking a pair of scissors and cutting his beard and hair. They've been wanting Cameron Grimes to shave his look for a long time. They kind of introduced the he can't get chicks storyline with Grayson Waller as a way to invite him to change his look. But then they just decided to go with a heel cuts his beard and hair. Okay, fine. That works. But I don't ever want to see this poker shit again. I don't ever want to see this poker shit again. I'll say it for the third time. I don't ever want to see this poker shit again. I could not follow this. I don't know how to play Texas Hold'em. I can't follow this. Even if you explain the rules, I still cannot follow the game. This is something that you have to be well versed in order to continue to play it. They should have did it in short segments. Like they did last week. Instead of doing it live, do it in shorter segments. And 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there would have been a lot more effective. I absolutely hated this block of time. I think it's a waste of Cameron Grimes' character. Now, they're finally getting into the physicality, which is good. But I think this has kind of been a waste of Cameron Grimes. I guess they found out how old he is. The next segment, Kyle O'Reilly came in and had himself a little bit of a conversation with Von Wagner. And he does not shy away from the fact that Von Wagner was on SmackDown and says, it must be, look at this, Adam Pearce's bodyguard. And then Von Wagner didn't say anything, didn't apologize or nothing like that. He said, look, don't worry about it. Our focus is on winning this match tonight. And so they went on to defeat Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs in a match I forgot was even going to occur. But then again, there is a wide open tag team title shot, which Imperium is stood in there watching the match. And for some reason, we didn't. Imperium, once again, watching the show from the side like everybody else, but not as severe as it is on Raw. On Raw, it's just, you got a chest facing the camera and your head is looking very like Beavis and Butthead. It's just not, it's so silly. I can't believe they're still doing that shit. In any event, Imperium said they got a long way to go. They're still not good enough to fight them yet. But it seems like they're going to do double duty when it comes to Von Wagner. They're not going to rush him. They're going to keep him in NXT. And he's going to be he's going to be making those SmackDown shots. Which, to be quite honest, not that big of a deal, considering a lot of these guys are doing that anyway. A lot of these guys are doing NXT and then they're being called to do dark matches. And the dark matches aren't always tryouts. I think some people seem to think that they are. They're not always tryouts. Sometimes it's just we want to get you in front of a different audience and to gauge your reactions and stuff like that. And yeah, every match is a tryout. Every promo is a tryout. But it's not specifically we're calling people to go on tour so that, we can call them up later. That's not specifically, the point. But it might be somebody in the company who wants to see that person for whatever reason. Maybe there's a role that they're looking to fill. Maybe they are looking to call them up and they say, hey, let's see if this person is ready, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they're looking at names and looking at ages and saying to themselves, oh, if we're going to make a move with this guy, it's got to be now. There's got to be something. But it's not always immediately for a call-up. WWE calls people to do tryouts all the time or dark matches. And sometimes it's a local person. Sometimes it's, some guy from the independents or something like that. So I think people get a little too excited or they get a little too upset by the concept of, being called to do a dark match. It's like it's just a extra match in front of the crowd. NXT is being at the Performance Center. And it's essentially going to be the same people every week. That's how it was at the old NXT arena at Full Sail. It became the same people every week. And then you go out and you get out in front of people who had never seen NXT and didn't watch it before. And it's a completely different audience with a completely different reaction style to what you're used to. And why not go and get those people out there as soon as possible? So it shouldn't be a big deal. I know Kyle O'Reilly has also been doing dark matches. So, of course he knows that Von Wagner is on SmackDown. Hell, he was on SmackDown too. Well, he's backstage. All right. Persia Parada. Persia Parada ended up beating two women by herself because Indy Hartwell went to check on Dexter Lumis after he got sent to the medical facility. I can't believe they sent him to a medical facility and not to a hospital. How is he ever going to get well in a medical facility? In any event, Persia Parada, they put her over as a powerhouse. She was stacking girls with Samoan drops and all that kind of stuff. It looked really good. Robert Stone is scouting her. All right, we're gonna run with this Robert Stone thing again. If they took all of his girls away before, they fired Jesse Kamea, fired Taya Valkyrie, and called up Aaliyah. But we still got Robert Stone. He's still around. Is he going to be serious this time or not? From the looks of things, he's still not going to be serious. He's still got a perm. So I have no idea what's going on with him. But if they're going to separate Indy and Persia, which I don't know if that's the smart thing to do, considering they really didn't get a run. But I think it was pretty smart to establish Persia's character independent of Indy Hartwell and her abilities. Because I didn't know she was a powerhouse. I thought she was, just kind of a generic wrestler. But they're gonna go with powerhouse with Persia Parada, which is awkward because they also have powerhouse with Elektra Lopez, and we don't need that many powerhouse wrestlers. You really don't. You don't really need that many. Well, I should be a little bit more precise. You don't need that many female powerhouse wrestlers. You can have as many male powerhouse wrestlers as you need. You don't need that many female powerhouse wrestlers. All right, so there's new characters for Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, which are very, very ill-timed. They're the life of the party. They go to festivals, music festivals, and they want to bring the energy of a music festival to WWE NXT on the heels of that whole Travis Scott? Out of that whole thing, probably not the best idea to try to lean towards we go to raves and we do rave culture and there's so much energy there. And it's just ill timed. Can you push the vignette back a week, please? Nobody wants to. It's like you're gonna have a hunter. Let's say you got a hunter gimmick, like the Muhammad Hassan thing. Like it's completely unrelated, but it's too soon. It's too soon after a real world event to do something so similar to that event. But I'm okay with the characters. They needed characters badly. They needed characters badly, and now they finally got them. So I'm not going to be upset about that at all. Hopefully nobody puts two and two together and bitches about this and how it's too soon after Astro World and people got stomped at these music festivals. To do a music festival based gimmick, and that's why they coming out through the crowd. I don't know, but NXT was okay. There was some good stuff like the Grayson Waller promo and the Tommaso Ciampa promo, and I'm still a big fan of Carmelo and Trick, but Trick needs to slow down and actually speak so people can understand what he's saying. Tony D'Angelo still rules. Braun Breaker still rules. Everything is right in the world on that. We got interesting stuff going on with Persia Pirotta, where we're looking to maybe separate her from Indy Hartwell. But we also got a lot of bad stuff, such as the Kyle O'Reilly tag team thing. I don't even understand why we're doing that. Why are they even beating Brooks and Jensen? Those are young guys. We should be trying to do something with them. And the long poker segment. I was not feeling that. Didn't feel that at all. All in all, not bad, but they can do better. I'm gonna say to NXT, do better. Make more sense. And I can't wait for Joe Gacy to crash his Diamond Mine thing. That's gonna be fucking hilarious. I can feel it in my bones. That's gonna be hilarious. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I will talk to you guys later.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session, but you got an affection for no progression, regression.